Hi, good morning, or good afternoon, and welcome to Thfc Till I Die World Cup preview. And we're going to have a good show today. I'm looking forward to this. We're going to go through the groups, see who's going to win, who's going out, and will Iran beat England? That is my tip for tomorrow. Iran won, England in. Get down to the bookies, get your bets on. That is going to be the game of the day. And joining me on this World Cup preview, well, I'm joined by two legends. There's no other word to call these men legends. Next to me, well, he is the godfather of the Harris Army. He's the godfather of YouTube in general. You want done, you go to this man. You displease him, he sends you the Skype. This morning. Can you hear me, Philip?
You were frozen there for a while. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you this morning?
Oh, yeah, very good. Looking forward to the spectacle. I'm looking forward to the spectacle of the World Cup. Not that it's in Qatar. I'm not looking forward to the controversy and the fact that it shouldn't be there. But hopefully, the football will make us forget about all that for a while. I'm going to change location here just in case it's.
Yeah, I'm going to move. Internet isn't great this morning. It's as choppy as Qatar for the World Cup. So I do apologize about that. Mr. Harris, good morning, IRISHHOTSPUR. How are you this morning?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, my man.
Can you hear me there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Good. Smiling as always. I mean, I can't stop wearing white, as you can see. Absolutely in love with Tottenham. But look, the World Cup is on the horizon. Put all the politics aside. Me personally, I don't believe politics and football should mix. It's all about the football for me. World Cup is always a great spectacle regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It is. And you go over the years, Dave, like from 2002, Philip probably goes back to the 70 World Cup and 74. You know, we've got a lot of World Cup memories all between us. Again, I apologize about my internet. I'm going to go out and shoot somebody from Vodafone if this carries on with their service. Guys, you, Philip, what's your thoughts on that?
Sorry, I only caught half of that, Dermot. Say it again.
Dermot, you might want to log out and log back in, I would say. Yeah,
I think he's asking about Benzema getting injured.
I'm going to have to come out and come back in. Hang on. Yeah. I'm good.
It's an awful shame for Benzema that he's got. I mean, he was on fire. The guy was scoring goals for fun for Real Madrid, and it's a big loss for France that he's gone. Like, I know they have Mbappe and all that, but it depends which Mbappe turns up on the day. You know, you can always rely on Benzema. I don't think you can always rely on Mbappe. Good and all as he is, you know. So it's a huge loss for France. It really is, and it's a pity. Like, there's some great players missing from this World Cup due to injuries sustained very late on or in training for the actual tournament. So the likes of two Chelsea lads and what do you call him? The Liverpool guy. What you call him?
Mane.
His name. Yeah, Mane's gone as well, but the Liverpool striker Jota, he's gone too. You know.
Yeah.
So it's tough on them, but anyway, I mean, France have a very strong squad. I think they're going to be one of the contenders, and as holders they should be. But you know, we'll see.
I still think they have a couple of golden boot candidates in there, though. I still think they have enough firepower. Like, look, Mbappe, I think he will turn up. You've also got Griezmann, you've got Ousmane Dembele, Coman, Giroud. As much as I don't like the guy, as much as I hate him, at the end of the day, he's still a wily old fox. He'll still be able to, you know, hold up the ball and that and sort of do what Benzema does. Maybe doesn't have the finishing ability, but it's time for Griezmann and others to step up. I still think France have still a strong enough squad to be able to cope with an injury to someone like Benzema.
Oh, they have, certainly. Yeah.
So, but Mane is a huge miss for Senegal. Absolutely huge miss. But,
yes.
you know,
Massive.
it's. Do you know what though, Philip? I don't know about whether you agree with this or not. But for me, when I see major players out injured for their teams heading into the World Cup, it's kind of like, well, it's a chance for someone else to grab the headlines, for someone else to step up and be a hero.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, that's what I've been saying all along. There's going to be players coming out of the woodwork in this World Cup that we've never really rated before, never even thought of, and they're going to make stars of themselves. Like, I mean, from our own point of view, look what Ozzy Ardiles did in '78. You know, no one has really heard of Ozzy Ardiles, but he was a star midfielder in that World Cup, and that's why we picked him up. So there's going to be players like that, and hopefully there's a good centre back we can get hold of at a reasonable price coming out of this, you know. But
trust me,
yeah,
it's going to be a lot better than what we have. I think we'll be in for a surprise. We'll
yeah.
coming out of the World Cup, you're like, why can't we even have that? Why can't we have this? Why can't we have that? I think it'll open our eyes a lot more to our frailties in that back line.
It's going to make January interesting, though. You know, any player does make a name for himself and might be on a short-term contract, it's going to be up for grabs in January. So you never know.
Are you a fan of signing players off the back of a World Cup though? Because like we've sort of been stung before, like with Paulinho, but then again we've got it right before, like you said, with Ardiles.
Yeah, but we didn't have. We got it right with Ardiles, but we didn't have Paratici in charge for Paulinho. You know, and I think we got a couple of the Romanian guys, didn't we, as well? Dumitrescu and all. They came off a World Cup as well. So, you know, I think Paratici knows that he can separate the good from the bad. And I have the utmost faith in him to pick the right client if he sees one that suits our needs. Our needs are very severe at the moment, as we all know, in that particular position, you know, centre back.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens, you know.
Hopefully, I presume Tottenham will have scouts out there anyway, you know.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure Paratici's out there. I'm sure he's not hanging around. He'll be out there, and they will have the scouts there. And plus, it was going to be fairly obvious.
Available, Philip? No Moretti out there? Are you sure he's going to be out there?
Is who?
No Moretti, the alcohol. It's not allowed. They're not selling alcohol out there, so there'll be no Moretti for them to
drink. I'd say Paratici's probably booked into a hotel that serves alcohol. Don't worry, he'll be all right. You know, some of the hotels do, some of them don't, apparently. And he'll make sure he's in one that sells alcohol. You know, but mind you, Levy mightn't approve his expenses claim when he gets back.
Yeah, probably would. Yeah, if you reject it straight away, you'd be going through it with a fine-tooth comb.
He will, of course. Yeah.
Where's Dermo? Man? He's coming back.
I don't know. He's having trouble with his internet, so you know. I'd imagine it's you know. And I don't have the banners up here in front of me, but I know one of the ones was he was just going to go through the groups. He's all the banners done up for the groups, but I don't think I've got them. I'm on the. No, I don't have them here.
Well, give me a second. I'll get the groups up and we'll start with Group A, Philip.
Yeah, okay.
So Group A, obviously, it kicks off today with Qatar and Ecuador also in that group. Give me a second, actually. I just need the groups. What's your thoughts on today's game, though? Qatar and Ecuador, and then also Senegal and Netherlands are in the same group.
Well, I mean, I think if you picked a potentially worse start to a World Cup, you couldn't have worse than this. I mean, this game should have been played tomorrow for a start. It should have been played between the winning team from last year and whoever's in their group, right? But the Qataris, again, proved that FIFA are not running this World Cup. This real World Cup has been organised and run by the Qatari royal family and the Qatari government. So that's why every change they've looked for, they've been given without a whimper. So it's not a great match. I mean, can you name one of the Ecuador team? I can't. I certainly can't name the Qatar team. I can't name the Qatar team, that's for sure.
No, with Qatar, they're a bit of a weird team, Qatar, because they have players. They have some. A couple of Africans and a couple of Brazilians in there as well. I don't know how that's worked out, but they're not all of Qatari citizenship or originally born there.
Nice.
But they did send a lot of their players out to Europe when they got awarded the competition to try and get them up to standard. For this World Cup, so they wouldn't be battered. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. Now with Ecuador, they've got that Hinsape guy, the guy from Leverkusen, the young centre back that we were touted to be rumoured with over the summer transfer window. And they've also got, remember, Enner Valencia, who played for a spell with West Ham and Everton, I think.
Oh, yes, yeah.
He plays with Ecuador, but they've done well in underage, under 21s and that recently, Philip, in South America and in the world. So, you know, if they've brought some of them guys through, they could be they could do all right in this group. But for me, I think, look, Ecuador probably beat Qatar today.
Yeah,
but I honestly, I don't really see any of them getting out. For me, I think it's more Senegal and Netherlands, to be honest, that I think get out. You excited by this Netherlands team? It's star-studded, a lot of good names right throughout the team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you remember, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, Netherlands were going through a horrendous period. They couldn't win a match. They're absolutely diabolical. Yeah. And now they've got, I mean, the Netherlands team is always very easy on the eye. You know, and I'll be particularly interested to see how our ex-player Steven Bergwijn does for them.
What about Vincent Janssen?
Oh, well, oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot. The missing link. The missing link. Couldn't hit a band off from 3 feet for us. Yeah. No, well, I mean, again, any ex-Spurs player, I hope, you know, I like to see them do well. But Netherlands, I do think they're one of my dark horses for the tournament, because if they get their game together, there's very few defenses can cope with that attack. So, you know, hopefully Netherlands will do well. And plus, their fans are always one of the most colourful. Now, whether they go out in numbers to here, I don't know. But you can normally guarantee an orange bank of fans anywhere the Netherlands play. And it's great to watch, you know.
And Louis van Gaal in charge. Philip, do you think he has the managerial capabilities to see them through to the last stages?
Oh, he didn't have when he was with United, did he, really? You know, didn't do it well. Maybe he did. I don't know. But, yeah, I mean, he's in the wily old fox. You know, I mean, he's been around the block a few times, so he's experienced. He won't be fazed by anything here. But like you say, I think it's pretty much odds on Senegal and Holland will go out of that group. They're the two stronger teams, even without Mane. You know, I think they're going to be too good. And then, because they have our Papa Matasar playing for them, so how can they go wrong? You know, the invisible man that we've never seen.
Yeah, that's very true, very true. But with Holland, for me, I think they're definitely a dark horse. I think, look, you've got Virgil van Dijk, Ake, Daley Blind, who used to play for United, Stefan de Vrij, Dumfries last year, Jeremy Frimpong, who moved from Celtic to the Bundesliga and is ripping it up, then Matthias de Ligt, who Spurs were tracking quite some time before he moved to Munich. Then you go into the midfield, Steven Berghuis, he's a wily operator, and Frankie de Jong, Davy Klaassen, who's another stalwart of that Dutch team, Martin de Roon. Then you've got Coop Miners, and then going forward, then you've got like you said, Bergwijn, Depay, Depay, Gakpo, and then, you know, if they want a target man, they've got Weghorst or Janssen there as well. So they'll definitely go out of this group top, in my opinion. Senegal now, on the other hand, it'd be interesting to see how they come out, Mane, Philip.
Yeah, that's true. He is their main man, you know. But they say that they'll be able to cope. But they're going to say that anyway. So they will struggle without him to score goals. But I still think they're probably a stronger team than Ecuador is, and they're certainly a lot stronger than the Qatar team. So, and like all African teams, they're good. They're easy to watch. They play football with a bit of abandon. There's no, you know, they don't know how to defend. They just keep attacking. So it'll be interesting. A good game. That could be a good game tomorrow. It'll be a very good game tomorrow.
I love how much they enjoy the experience. Anytime African teams get to the World Cup, they really enjoy it. They bring a bit of fun to it. But I agree with you. I think for me, Netherlands top the group, Senegal probably second, Ecuador third, and Qatar probably the winning boys. Philip, would you go with that?
Absolutely, yeah. And I would say the Qatar boys will be looking to just restore a bit of pride or keep a bit of pride in their performances. But to be honest with you, I can see them losing all 3 matches.
Yeah. So can I. Well, Group B is the interesting group, Philip. You've got England, Iran, USA, and Wales. Look, for me, I'm going to start this one off. I think there's definitely potential cause of an upset. England didn't have the greatest Nation League campaign, being done over by Germany, being done over by Hungary. They did struggle. Their backline is gettable. You can get at them. For me, I think this could go two ways for England, to be honest with you, Dermot. I think if Gareth Southgate is brave and picks creative problems, because for me, England's problem at competitions has been they've been unable to unlock the door consistently enough, in my opinion. So for me, if you put Trent right wing back, getting them balls floating in, Trippier will probably be left wing back. Hopefully get Foden in there up in and around Kane. I think go with Bellingham and Rice in midfield. I think they'll be fine going forward. It's just that back line. And I can see many teams doing what Hungary done to them in the Nations League, also doing what Iceland done to them before in the Euros. I think it was 2016. Just sit back, counter them, knowing that back line will give you chances.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Plus, I don't think USA have ever beaten England at a World Cup. They played once in 1950. I think USA beat them. And then Jurgen Klinsmann, I think it was 2010, I think, if I'm correct, ended up getting a draw, and I think USA topped the group. And traditions like that can tend to continue. Also, Wales, they're going to rise for their game for England as well. And with USA, I was looking at the teams yesterday, Philip. When I look at their team, right, maybe look, goalkeeper, defense-wise, they're not the best. But they've in midfield and going forward, they've got a lot of young, hungry, quick players. And if they could get their team to go out there, press absolutely everything and play a quick, fast tempo game, I think they could get at the likes of England and Wales, because they won't be used to that sort of heat whatsoever. I think a lot of the games, especially the group stage, are going to be played at slow pace. You're not going to see much people herring about. If USA can do that out there, I do think you might actually see them cause an upset and could potentially get out of the group. But Wales, I wouldn't write them off either. I think Iran will be the whipping boys, but we know Wales, they absolutely relish screwing up people's days. They absolutely love it. There's good camaraderie in the camp. Could you see England go out of this group, or is that gone too far?
Well, I think, first of all, to use the word Southgate and brave in the same sentence isn't really applicable, because the guy isn't brave. He's not. He'll play it so safe. He'll play 5 at the back. He'll play defensively, and he will allow teams. Like if he plays Dyer and Maguire as the 2 central midfielders, I can see the likes of, the Chelsea guy, what do you call him? Christian Pulisic. And the likes of him I see Gareth Bale having a field day against him. So it's not beyond the realms of possibility that England will go out with this one. But I have a funny sneaking suspicion that the Welsh passion and their absolute joy actually being in the first World Cup for 64 years, I have a sneaking suspicion England and Wales will go out with that group.
It's one of them. It's one of them with England. I think, me personally, I think it's Gareth Southgate's last competition with England. I think he'll go after this competition. I think he's come to the end of the cycle. A lot of players he started with are now getting on. England's a tricky one, because you look at that back line, I don't think it even feels anybody that is supporting England really with too much confidence. But going forward, there's a lot of players there that can unlock the door. So it'd be interesting to see whether they turn up and play, or whether they turn up and they're not quite at it. It's hard to know what to expect from them from their Nations League. And you can't really go off the Nations League either, because players didn't really want to be there. We know that from being up at the Aviva watching Ireland, Philip. Players were just going through the motions in them games. So England is a very tricky one to judge going into this. Might surprise a lot of people, but there is also there's always that potential of an early exit from them. I remember the World Cup group, what was it, Costa Rica, Uruguay, and some other team, and they ended up going out. So it's a tricky one. But I think, I think they might get out. I think they will get out. I think them and Wales, I think USA's experience might just catch up with them. I think DeAndre Yedlin is the only player in that team, ex-Spurs guy, Philip, the only one with World Cup minutes actually going into that World Cup. So I think it might just come back to haunt them a little. But look, we'll go on to Group C, Philip.
I'll just show a few comments, David, before we go on. I'll just put up a few comments that are coming in and think, John Fitzpatrick, let's go. Come on, you Spurs. Good man, John. The next one, I'm not quite sure what this is about. I'll show it up here.
Oh, no, John.
It's not to do with football. Big up the Irish Spurs. Come on, you Spurs, from Andrew Gregory. Good man, Andrew. And Kev Williams, Hi, Philip. Hi, David. All I want from this plastic World Cup is for all Spurs players involved to return safe and injury-free. Absolutely. That's our biggest wish, really, is to do that, you know. And this DERMOTRON is coming in the background there, and I think
we're on Group C now, Dermo.
Group C now, Dermot. Yeah, we've done that one. Now, who's the other team? Argentina, Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Poland. That's a tight little group there. It's hard. Okay, I'm going to just discount Saudi Arabia from that. But Argentina and Mexico and Poland. I think Argentina will win the group. It's a toss-up between Mexico and Poland, who could actually get the second spot there. I think maybe. What do you think, Dave? What do you reckon on that?
Look, I think Argentina will piss it. I think they'll get 9 points. Saudi Arabia, whipping boys, always have been when they go to the World Cup. It's between Mexico and Poland, but you know what? With Mexico, Philip, they left a couple of they're better players out of the World Cup squad. Jack was saying there's a lot of politics and infighting and stuff like that.
Okay.
For me, when I look at Poland, I think they're very, very boring to watch. If I'm being brutally honest, I don't get excited about watching them at all. I think Poland will nick it. I'll go with Argentina and Poland to go second, to be honest with you, with Mexico third and Saudi's fourth.
Yeah, I think possibly Mexico might just nick it with the flair players that they have, but it's a toss up. It really is. And that's one of the groups that's really difficult to decide who's going through. It's definitely Argentina, but maybe not. We'll see. That could be a tough toss up.
Do you think Argentina are your favourites to win the World Cup? Because they're mine.
They're certainly one of the top three anyway. Absolutely.
I think there's something like 30-odd games unbeaten. I think they're 3 off reaching the equaling the record. They're on a long streak.
Yeah, I think the fact that everybody wants Lionel Messi to get the last major honor in his career. So I think it'd be a huge push for Argentina to actually go and do it. And yeah, as you say, your favourite, that'd be. I think if I come down hard on that, I'd say it's a toss-up between them and Brazil, but we'll see, you know.
Look, they bet Brazil forward to claim Messi's first honour for Argentina, the Copa America. I think they put absolutely everything into this. Look, we've had the experience of Romero coming back late, etc. The camaraderie in that camp. They also were requesting for players not to play in the month of November for their clubs to be fresh for this. And I just think absolutely everything is geared to getting Messi that World Cup so they can put him in the same bracket as a Maradona. And when I look at their squad, Philip, there's some really wily old dogs in there, but there's also a lot of flair in there as well. Di Maria's last World Cup as well. And when I look at it, I just think they've got the strongest squad. I think they've got strength and depth. And when I look at that team and the squad they've brought, they can do both sides of the game. They can get in there and make it physical and nasty if that's what teams want to do, but they can also play beautiful football. So for me, I think they are my favourites to win this one. I don't usually back Argentina going into competitions. I don't usually jump on that hype. But for this one, I just feel like it's going to be different for them. I think they will find success ultimately in the end. But shall we move on to the next group?
It's good. It'd be good to have a Spurs player in the winning team again as well, Romero. But you might have answered my question there. Why didn't he play in November? Now I think we know why.
Do you know what? I think there's a bit of both to it, Philip. To be honest, on Romero, just quickly, like my thoughts are, I think he was probably more cautious with coming back from injury, knowing the World Cup was around the corner than maybe what he would have been prior. But I also don't think it's in his character just to miss games, for the sake of missing games. But look, that's just my opinion. But Group D, Philip, interesting group here: France, Denmark, Australia, Tunisia. Look, I think France and Denmark will be the two teams to come out. Australia, don't know much about them, not very good. Tunisia, the same. But Denmark and France, it's not a foregone conclusion that France is going to top this group.
No, I think Denmark will push them very hard. I mean, Denmark are always a good team to play, and the fact that they've got our midfield general playing for them as well, and our ex-midfield general Christian Eriksen. It's great to see him playing in the World Cup. So yeah, I think Denmark will push France very hard on this one, but I think France might just have enough to win the group. But as you said, I don't know a lot about Australia or Tunisia, but really, I think it's really those France and Denmark stick out there as being the pretty much certainties to go through, if there is such a thing.
Do you think Denmark will top the group then? Because Jack did
No,
yesterday.
I think they'll push them. I don't know. I think France might just have a little bit more than Denmark, but certainly the two of them will go through.
Yeah, I agree. I hope Zinedine Salzburg has an absolute unbelievable World Cup. He's been on sensational form heading into this World Cup. And that Denmark team, I mean, I think a lot of people got behind them at the Euros. And they went pretty deep, and they were tough. They were a very tough team to beat. They're very, very compact and strong defensively, but also know how to nick a goal as well. And look, as Ireland, we've come up against them a few times, whether it be playoffs or in qualifiers, and we've been absolutely just demoralised by them, to be honest with you. But France, I think France will top the group. I think, look, they're missing CONTE and Paul Pogba. But I think CONTE is the bigger miss, to be honest with you. I think defensively and going forward, he's just a little whippy. He's one of them. He's really annoying. You play football, Philip. You know a guy that just doesn't stop running around. And he's up against you, and it's just so annoying. You're constantly having to check over your shoulder to see where he is. I think he's their biggest miss. Paul Pogba, I actually don't think they're going to miss too much, to be honest with you. That guy, he really annoys me. Like, he could be one of the world's best players if he tried, but he just doesn't try. When I watched him at the last Euros, a lot of games just sort of passing by. He pops up with a crossfield ball here and there, and people are sitting there with the ladder in the hand stroking. It's ridiculous. I don't think he's as good as people let on, but they've got two exciting midfielders in there, in Camavinga and Tchouaméni as well, who could end up taking that role. But when I look at their team, again, another very, very strong team, Philip. Very strong back line, strong in the forward areas as well. So I think they've got to be considered as another one of the favourites. Yeah, they went out to Switzerland in the last Euros, but it was on penalties. It's more of that's just luck at the end of the day. But they are current world champions going into this.
Yeah, I think Pogba won't be. They won't miss Pogba. In fact, I'd say if half the French fans were honest about it, they'd say that Laddie's not going, because he's the most divisive player they could have in the squad. I mean, they need to build a separate dressing room to keep his ego. And the guy thinks he's a big stinks and sliced bread, But as you say, the occasional good pass and the occasional good game does not make a great player. So they're better off without it. And Kante is a much bigger miss, and Benzema is a much bigger miss. So they're going to miss those two players, but I think they have enough strength in depth with the midfield they've got them, and with Mbappe up front and Griezmann and the likes of that. They're going to be a hard team to stop. So I think Tunisia and Australia might feel the brunt of that, but Denmark will hold fast. And I'll just say France by a point to win that group.
And plus, Didier Deschamps won't change, Philip. I mean, you're talking about one of three managers to only ever win it as a player and lift the World Cup as a manager as well. And look, I know a lot of the French fans and a lot of people watching France don't actually agree with their style of play, which is sit back, soak it up, catch them on the counter, and use Mbappe's pacing behind.
Sounds familiar.
But at the end of the day, he won a World Cup doing that. I don't expect him to change, and it does sound familiar, to be honest with you. If only Kane had Mbappe's speed, we'd be talking about the ultimate player in world football.
Yeah, I know.
Look, Dermot, keep it moving, my man. Group E: Spain, Germany, Costa Rica, Japan. Philip, I actually predict an upset in this group, to be honest with you. But I'm not going to tell you.
This is the group of death for me. Costa Rica and Japan, you just don't know what you're going to get there. They could be very, very. Japan has some excellent players, and I honestly think Germany could be the vulnerable group in that team.
What do you think of Japan leaving out that midfielder from Celtic? He's unbelievable.
Yeah. I forget his name now, but I mean, I think Japan will be able to prove a point there. Costa Rica, you never know what you're going to get from a Central American team, and I honestly think Germany could be vulnerable here. I think Spain will be okay. But this is a very tricky group to actually predict. Really tricky, and I think that a lot of people will be watching this one very, very carefully, because there is going to be a huge casualty coming out of this first round, and it could be in this group.
Yeah, Hatate is his name. I was very surprised he was left out. I like him. He reminds me a bit of Luka Modric. I'm not saying he's as good as Luka Modric, but It reminds me a bit like Luka Modric. I was surprised he was left out. And they left out Furuhashi as well, the striker from Celtic. But they did bring Maeda. And with Japan, one thing they will do, Philip, is they work hard and work very hard. And if you look at Maeda for Celtic, he absolutely chases everything. And I reckon Japan will obviously look to do the same. I think they'll follow that trend. And their coach made an interesting quote when he named his team and left out some big names. He basically said he's looking for burning ambition and burning desire over experience, which shows me they're coming into this ready. Costa Rica, with these guys, I mean, they bet England in the last World Cup they were at. You just never know with Costa Rica. Not many people ever talk about them, but they just run all day. Look, I don't think Costa Rica will get out of the group. I think, me personally, I'm actually going with Germany and Japan. When I look at that Spanish team, I think, look, their defense is aging. I'm not too impressed by their back line. You go into the forward line, I struggle to see where the goals are actually going to come from. Their midfield is their best part, but even then, they've got some youngsters in there with Pedri and Gavi. And I just think it potentially with Spain, because people remember Spain as the Euros, the World Cup, and the Euros champions, the back-to-back-to-back team. But Philip, you will attest to this. Before that, they weren't really a world power in the game. They were always okay, but like you know, go back to competitions where Ireland were at, Spain were never that powerful. No one really ever feared Spain. I think they're going through a bit of a cycle at the minute. I think Germany, I think they've got a strong team from goalkeeper to defense to midfield to the forward line and strength and depth right throughout. I think they're going to surprise a lot of people this competition, Germany. I'm going with Germany to top the group. I'm actually going to go with Japan to get out second.
Okay. Yeah, I just have this feeling that Germany are always so dominant in nearly every competition they go into. I just feel they're going to come. There's some competition soon they're going to come a cropper. There's no other reason. It's just a hunch that I have that they're not going to do the business this time. But you know, you're probably going to be right. It probably will be Spain and Japan. Japan and Germany to get out of the group. But I just have a sneaking suspicion that that's going to be one I'm going to be watching most closely to see if there's a shock door. You know. Just
quickly before we do take Group F, what do you think of Germany's decision to leave out Toni Kroos?
Quite surprising. You know, Toni Kroos has been a mainstay of the midfield for a long number of years. And, it's one of those decisions the manager will either live or die by. If they do well, it'll be a great decision. If they don't, it'll be blamed on them for doing that. So, you know, brave decision to make. Possibly not one I would have made, because Kroos, even if he doesn't play, to have him there in the squad and the backup is always, you know, very, very advantageous. But brave decision. Really,
I was surprised they brought Mario Götze ahead of Toni Kroos. I was very surprised.
He's done nothing really. I mean, that's the guy who plays for Frankfurt now, isn't it?
Yeah. And for me as well, look, I think Germany, they're going to be exciting to watch. Hansi Flick, he likes to play on the front foot football, likes to play attacking football. I think they're going to be exciting to watch. But Philip, Group F, take it away, my man.
Oh dear, oh dear. Well, I mean, you've got to say the top two teams will go through there. Canada, great to see them at the World Cup, really is, you know. But again, I don't know much about them. I don't know what their pedigree is like, whether they're a strong team, a weak team, or whatever. They're obviously decent enough if they qualified, but it's so hard to look beyond. Belgium and Croatia are way stronger than Morocco and Canada, whatever way you look at it. And Croatia still have our old workhorse Luka Modric at 37. Still calling the shots for them, you know. I mean, and Belgium is like an ex-Spurs team at the moment, you know. With Tongan and Alderweireld is still there, you know. And with the likes of Kevin De Bruyne and what do you call him, Hazard and all that. No, Belgium to win the group, Croatia to come second, and I don't know where the other two are going to finish. Well, obviously third and fourth, but I don't know what order they're going to be in, because I don't know anything about really Morocco or Canada to speak of. But that's probably one of the most lopsided groups there is, you know.
For me, one of my other dark horses is Croatia. They get wrote off sort of going into every World Cup or every tournament. No one really talks too much about them, but then they're always in there around the quarters, in and around the semis. They're always there deep into competitions. They're built differently. They're technically solid and they're absolutely mentality of steel. I think Croatia, for me, are another dark horse. Modric's last World Cup. You've got Perisic, probably his last World Cup as well. But they've also got some exciting new young guys coming through. I think midfield is their strongest area. They're stacked in there. They've got Vlasic, Modric, Brozovic, Kovacic. They've got a lot of good operators in that midfield. Their back line, they've got Gvardiol, and there was another guy they brought Vida with them, another experienced guy. And then in the front line, they've also got Orsic, who knocked Spurs out of the Europa League, also scored against Chelsea there the other day. Petkovic there, they know how to nick goals. Belgium, I think they'll get out of this group, no problem. I think where the competition will catch up with them is a bit later on. The Asian backline, the heat, the faster players, I think it will ultimately catch up on them. So I am going to write them off from going deep enough into it. I think Canada, I just think lack of experience to be able. They've got some good players there. They've got, I think it's Omari Hutchinson, Alphonso Davies. There's a couple of other kids in there they're raving about. But ultimately, first World Cup, I don't know whether they'll have the experience in the games against like Croatia or Belgium to get anything out of it. Morocco, another dark horse for me. I like them. They've got an unbelievable backline, by the way. They've got Hakimi in there. They've got another guy. They've got a couple of other guys at top clubs around Europe, and they've got some strikers in there capable of nicking goals. Sofiane Boufal and a couple of others potentially. Hakim Ziyech potentially. They for me, if there was anyone to cause an upset and potentially nick a second spot, it could be them. But I do see it being Belgium and Croatia, to be honest with you. I think Dharma must have gone again. I'm not sure, but I'll keep going with the groups. Where were we? We were off.
Croatia. They for the next 4 weeks in Croatia, there'll be nothing done. They're mad about soccer down there. There'll be absolute. And Jack will love that. There's all the itches in the team as well. You know.
Oh, stop! All the itches. It's an itch fest for Jack. We'll have to get him some cream fill up. So we will. But look, we've 2 groups left to discuss. We'll go into Group G, Philip. You've got Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, and Cameroon. I mean, any one of them can come out second.
Back to Group A there. Let me see. Right, Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland. This is a very difficult group to call. I mean, you've got to say Brazil are going to be the favourites with the players that they have, and hopefully Richarlison features strongly in their team. You know, but I mean, any other Serbia are a good team with Mitrovic and another
team as well to qualify.
Yeah, exactly. Switzerland are always a very workman-like team, you know, and they've got some decent players. And the Cameroons now, again, African teams.
The 90s don't have they, Cameroon, really?
Yeah, no, I mean, they're not since the days of Roger Miller and all these guys. No, they have. He's about 45 when he played in the World Cup.
Over at the corner flag doing all his little moves.
Oh, that's right. They could be brilliant to watch. And if they bring any fans with them, the fans will be so colourful and everything, you know. But I'm going to discount them and say this is a dogfight between Serbia and Switzerland to get the second spot. And I wouldn't like to predict that. That's really, really going to be tight. I'd say might just lean to Serbia because of their forward line. But you know, it's another one that's a difficult group to call. But I think Brazil will win that group. I think Brazil are going to be there or thereabouts come the end of the tournament as well.
Do you know what? I look at the Brazil team, Philip. I think you can get at them out in the wide areas, in the fullback areas. Also, their strength in depth in midfield isn't the greatest. Like, yeah, they've got Casemiro, Fabinho, and Gomes. But outside of that, they've got Fred, Ribeiro, and there's another guy there. I think if they get an injury in that midfield area, I think they could come into some problems. Look, in the forward area, I think they've got some amazing forwards there. I still think some of them going are a bit raw, but I do think Brazil will go deep. For me, I like Serbia. I actually got them in the Weird Tom TV sweepstakes, so I need them to get out of the group. But I like the forward line. They've got Vlahovic, Mitrovic, and they've also got Jovic as well, who was at Madrid. So they've got some very good forward lines. Milinkovic, Savic in there as well in midfield. and their back line is good as well. I actually think they will get out of this group second over Switzerland. When I look at Switzerland, I agree with you, Philip. I think they're very workmanlike. Ireland have played them a couple of times over the last couple of years. But we're shit going forward. But we still got at their backline. I think their backline is gettable at, and I think that's ultimately what will be what cost them. Cameroon, look, I was watching something the other day. I don't even think their countrymen think they're going to get out, to be honest with you. And they're very disappointed with Cameroon's showings at World Cups in previous years gone by. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. But for me, I'm going to go with Brazil and Serbia. I think that takes us on.
Nothing about Brazil, though. A lot will depend on Brazil and which Neymar turns up. Because let's face it, Brazilian teams don't know how to defend. They never did. I mean, Brazil always built their game on scoring one more goal than the opposition did. Because I mean, it must be a nightmare being like everyone in Brazil wants to be a forward. No one wants to be a defender, and that's probably why their great players over the years have mainly been up front, like Pele and Jorginho and all these guys, and then Neymar. So I think they'll be too good to get. They'll be too strong for the other teams in that group. But I think I'll take your point. Serbia will nick the second spot. Just to keep you alive in the sweepstake as well,
Yeah, I need to. I got absolutely rolled, Philip. I got Serbia and I think some other crap team. I got absolutely rolled. But when I look at Brazil, right, Philip, I look at that Brazil team that's gone there now. And I look at the great Brazil teams that I watched growing up, Rivaldo, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Kaká, Junior, Pernambucano, Cafu, Roberto Carlos, Roque Jr., the list goes on and on and on. And when I look at that Brazil team compared to this one, I think both of them, Brazilians like to enjoy themselves, right? But the Brazil teams of years gone by that I grew up watching, yes, they enjoyed themselves, but I also think they had that work ethic to them. I'm just not so sure about this Brazilian team that they also carry that work ethic or the same desire to get the job done as years gone by from the great Brazil teams I've watched. So I'll be very interested to watch them. But Philip, last group, Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, and South Korea. It's a tough group, this.
That's a tough group. That is a tough group. Ghana have some decent players. They really do. Portugal, we know all about them.
It's the rematch of the Luis Suarez handball. Remember that one where he got sent off and Uruguay still went through?
Oh, yeah, that's right. But you look at the likes of Portugal, whether the Ronaldo thing will affect the team morale there, I doubt it.
No.
You've got Uruguay, very strong South American team with our beloved Rodrigo Bentancur in the heart of it. And then you've got South Korea. How can you look beyond South Korea with Son? And some of the players like Kim Min-hae, that big centre back that were from Napoli that we should be buying.
And they've also got that guy from Wolves as well.
That's right. Yeah. So this is probably the hardest group to actually pick a winner from, and a second place, because I mean any one of those four teams could win this group. Although probably Ghana would be the least possible to win it, but Uruguay, South Korea, oh my God, that really is a group of death. It really is. I mean, sticking my neck out, I'm gonna say that Portugal will not get out of that group. I'm going to say Uruguay and South Korea.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, the only reason I'm saying that is I just feel that the Portugal team, I know they're a very good team, they're really efficient. I mean, they beat Nigeria 4-0 the other night. Now Nigeria are no dozers, but I just feel Ronaldo's ego is going to be a detriment to that team coming over the next few days. If he's fighting with any of his teammates like Bruno Fernandes, that's going to come up on the pitch. It's going to be reflected on the pitch. And I just feel that South Korea and Uruguay might just nick it, and it'd be a major shock if Portugal don't go through, but I think it's possible they won't.
Interesting. Look, I'm going to start with Ghana. I think they could use the heat to their advantage because they'll be used to playing in heat like that and stuff like that. And I just wonder, can they be more robust and more energetic than most teams in this heat, which then could cause an upset? Very interesting to see. With Ghana, I've failed to write them off because out of the African teams of years gone by in the World Cup, they're the ones that have made it the farthest and offered most to the competition. like that time when Luis Suarez ended up handballing on the line. I think Ghana missed the resulting penalty and Uruguay ended up going through. Ghana, I do think, will turn up. Uruguay, for me, are another one of my dark horses. They've got some good forward. They've got a good forward line there of Darwin Núñez, Luis Suarez, Cavani. They've got young Palestri at United. Then you go into midfield. They've got Torreira. Of course, our main man, Ben Tekker's the big boy. And they've got a couple of Vecino. They've got a couple of other good operators in there. And then across the back line, they've just got some wily old dogs. Sebastian Cortez, who was it? Martin Caceres. Again, I think they're a team that can play a bit of football. They might not be the most exciting to watch, but they're going to have that nitty-gritty and that know-how and that dog about them. For me, I think Uruguay get out of this group for cert. South Korea, I mean, you don't really know what you're going to get from them. Wasn't it? Didn't they make the semi-finals of the 2002 World Cup?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. Was it that far? But how about Japan? That was 2002. Yeah, they did. It was actually it was Japan and South Korea. They were playing. They were playing. It was a joint venture between Japan and South Korea.
South Korea not make the semi-finals that year, I think.
I think they did. Yeah. I remember. And you remember they knocked out Germany the last time as well.
Yeah.
The last World Cup. So, I think one thing about Uruguay though, Uruguay won't take any prisoners.
No.
They'll come off that pitch with a few bruises now. They are not going to hang around when it comes to the physical side of the game.
No, they won't. They won't. For me, I look at the Portugal team. I think, look, they've got a good team right throughout. Good back line, good bunch of goalkeepers to pick from, good midfield, good forward players as well. I think they're going to be tidy. I'm actually going to go with Portugal and Uruguay to get out of this group.
Yeah.
But I take what you say on board, though, Philip. I take what you say on board. And, I never doubt you because you know your stuff. I never doubt you. But look, we'll wait and see.
We'll wait and see what happens. That's the most interesting group of the whole lot, though. There could be any one of 4 teams going through there. So
yeah, for sure. But Philip, do you know if Dermot had any other questions? We've gone through the groups. Was there any other questions?
I'm just going to go through the comments here now just to see. It's mainly Dermot's comments. The Argentina reminds me of the 1986 team. Yeah, that's true enough. They do, actually. And the next one, you can never write off the Germans. True. Canada's first World Cup since 1986. Yeah. Cameroon went out of, that's right, 1982, that was unbeaten, that's right. Uruguay were the first FA Cup winners, or World Cup winners, almost 100 years ago. And he's going for Uruguay and Ghana. Right.
What's Dermot on? I need some, send it my way.
Chris Agombar says, big up, lads. Good man, Chris. And I think this is to do with Korea. They did beat Italy on the way. That's 2002. So that's all the comments. Now there's all the winners of the actual competitions. 1930 Uruguay, 34 Italy, 38 Italy again. Then you've got Brazil. South America took over them for a number of years. Well, Uruguay, West Germany, Brazil. Then England's only win in 66. Brazil again in 70. West Germany in 74. Argentina in that infamous World Cup of 78. 82 Italy again. Argentina, 86, the hand of God. 90 West Germany. 94 Brazil again. 98 France. 2002 Brazil. What's that?
Europe and South America just rotate every few years.
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, and it's Italy 2006, Spain 2010. Like the last 4 winners have been from Europe, though. You look at 5 out of the last 6 have been from Europe. So that's why I think it's time South America brought it back, and I think they will. And it's a shame. Like, it's unbelievable to think that Italy aren't even in the tournament this time. When you think about it, the one of the major winners of the World Cup are not even there. But I think it's time for South America to bring it back. And I'm gonna say that my top 3 teams to win this would be Argentina, with Brazil, and possibly of a European dark horse going to be the Netherlands.
I like that shout. For me, I'm going to go with Argentina. I'm going to put Germany in there. Do I go with Brazil or Croatia?
There
I'm going to go
you
with
are.
Croatia. I'm
Good
going to go
man,
with
Dave.
Croatia.
Okay, yeah. So really, Argentina are really the only South American team are going to get there for you.
Yeah. Well, I'm just not convinced by Brazil. I don't know why. I don't feel convinced by them, Philip.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, it's quite possible. You're right. Yeah, we'll see how they bear up, and but it's going to be. I said it's going to be the survival of the fittest here. I mean, I wouldn't knock out Uruguay. I say Uruguay could be semi-finalists.
Yeah. I think they could shock a lot of people this World Cup. I really do. A Golden Boot winner, Philip. If I asked you for a prediction, who are you going to go with?
Oh, I'd love to say Harry Kane, but I'm not sure if England will go far enough to actually get that. On a personal basis, I'd love to see Harry Kane do it. But I have a feeling it's going to be the likes of someone like Mbappe or Neymar or someone like that, or who's the Argentinian striker? What the hell do you call him?
You've got Dybala, you've got fucking Messi, you've got Di Maria.
Messi. Yeah, sorry, Messi. I think Messi will get the Golden Boot this time. Because the further Argentina go, the more he's going to be scoring. So, much as I would love to see Harry retain it, I don't think England are going to go far enough to allow him to do it, unless he scores about 4 or 5 against Iran, which is possible. You would never know. Harry could score enough goals in the group stages to win it, but I don't think so, unfortunately.
Do you know what? For me, I would love to see Harry Kane retain it. I absolutely love the guy. I'd love to see him retain it. Don't want to see England win the World Cup, though. But I do want him to get the Golden Boot. But I think, look, obviously, like you, I think you've got Mbappe. I think Griezmann, he's always in and around the last couple of competitions. I think you can't write off Lionel Messi either, because I think Argentina will win it. I'm going to put Thomas Muller in there as well. I think Germany will go deep. I think they play a lot better football going forward. And Thomas Muller, I think it's going to be his sort of last World Cup as well. He'll want to equal Kloser's record of goals at World Cups as well. So let's see what he can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The dark horse. My dark horse is Uruguay to get up, not to win it possibly, but to get up to the semi-final stage. And but again, I'm not going to go beyond Argentina or Brazil to actually win the thing.
My dark horse is Croatia or Uruguay. I've said it going into this competition. They're the two teams I fancy to go distance, to be honest with you.
Who will be the surprise team in the World Cup?
Saudi Arabia, how far they are off the pace.
Yeah.
Surprise team is the same as a dark horse, no?
Well, dark horse, yes. Well, I mean, the dark horse might go fairly far. Surprise team might be a team that everybody loves, but eventually fall at the quarterfinal stage or something like that. So, who put it down for that? Wales.
I'm going to go Serbia.
Nice. I think Wales could do a lot better than a lot of people think. Gareth Bale will score against anybody, and yeah. The best Irish World Cup memory's got to be Italian 90. Absolutely. Penalty shootout against Romania when David O'Leary scored that goal. The whole country went absolutely ballistic for about 2 weeks. I mean, there wasn't a plate washed in the house for days after that. It was just one of those moments. Like, it was a bad time for the country, economy, inflation, everything was bad at the time. And it was just such a lift for the team to, I mean, and the crowd that greeted them when they came home, there must have been 100,000 people in College Green when they came back after losing to Italy 1-0 in the quarterfinals. So that'd be my best Irish World Cup memory. That and Ray Houghton's goal against Italy in the '94 World Cup in New York. But 90 is hard to beat.
Mine would be Robbie Keane against Germany. I mean, completely out of the game. Long ball to Niall Quinn. He picks it on. Robbie Keane squeezes it in past one of the greatest goalkeepers ever on he can. And it's just the iconic cartwheel and the outguns. Absolutely loved everything about it. But as well, I mean, I never knew pubs opened up at 7:30 in the morning. But I did that day. It was a weird experience. But no, I got to say, Robbie Keane, 2002 World Cup. I think that game against Spain as well, missing the penalty during, I think it was normal time or extra time, to try and take the game as well, to get through a bit further and knock Spain out. But me, I really enjoyed the 2002 World Cup. So for me, I would say Robbie Keane's moment. Or who was it? Was it Matt Holland that scored against Cameroon? Who scored that? Who scored a thunderbolt against Cameroon? I think I'm going to say Matty Holland. I think it was Matty Holland. Comes to mind. But that's who I'm going to go with, Dermo.
Yeah. So that's it. And there's the famous hand of God. You see that that ball in the picture there was sold at auction during the week for over £2 million.
Wow.
The referee held on to it. So not only did he make a mistake during the match by letting the goal stand, he made a fortune from it afterwards.
So anyone that tells you being a referee doesn't pay off, it clearly
That's
does.
It. That's it. He was cute now. He took the ball away with him. You know, he must have known it was going to be valuable.
I think Dermot has this picture because I think it wants to be what's this game, what's this from? And this
that's
is, he says,
Shilton should have cleaned him out there.
Yeah, he should have. He should have. But absolute genius by Maradona. But I think that's it. I think is it?
I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. And listen, good, David. Thanks for coming on there.
No.
Your expertise is absolutely wonderful on the World Cup. There, I was very impressed now with your name calling there. Brilliant.
No, look, I appreciate. I actually really enjoyed it. You know, I was struggling to get up for the World Cup a little, but the last couple of days now that's here, I'm kind of getting excited for it. But look, I'm going to miss tonight's match anyway because I have to bring the missus out. But unfortunately. But yeah, I'm looking forward to watching the rest of the World Cup. I'm not going to miss much tonight anyway. But thanks for having me, guys.
No problem.
And I apologize as well. I've had a mare. My computer's crashed. The PC crashed. The laptop crashed. The phone wasn't working. So I've stayed in the background. So Dave, thank you so much for stepping up. And I'm really sorry about this. I didn't want to come back in because I didn't want to disturb you two because it was such a good show. Look, for me, I agree with you two. I think Argentina will win the World Cup. That's my opinion. England will lose to Iran 1-0. They'll lose to USA, and then they'll get a draw against Wales. So that's my prediction. Dave, do you want to plug your channel? Go on.
You guys can find me over at the Irish Hotspur. You always see these two here and Ellie over there as well. Always on the fan shows and doing little bits and pieces over there. So guys, and Philip's always on the pre-match build-ups as well. Everybody loves listening to him. So guys, get over there and check it out. But most importantly, smash the subscribe button here. I'm really a big fan of Philip, Dermo, and Ellie. Really big fans. Really do admire them. So please get behind them and support them.
Thank you so much, Philip. Thank you as always. I'm now going to go to Vodafone and try and drag an engineer to make the internet work better. I'll throw my PC out the window, one or the other. So if you hear a lot of banging from Wexford, you know it's me throwing my PC out the window. But anyway, thank you all for watching.
Enjoy your shopping, David.
Yeah, enjoy the shopping.
Bag carrier, that's all I am. I just put tape over my mouth and just walk around with my arms out like that, waiting for the bags to be put in them, Philip.
Right. Listen, we'll see you soon.
We'll see you. And listen, and we'll be back next Saturday for the charity stream. And we've got 12 hours. So Dave's coming on for that. He's going to do a quiz, a mastermind quiz. We've got lots of different things. Again, we apologize for not being on yesterday, but unforeseen things happened. So we had to put it back. But thank you very much, Dave. Thank you, Philip, for coming on. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Enjoy the World Cup. Enjoy your Sunday. Have a good day. And we'll be back soon. God bless you.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. Come on, Argentina.
In CONTE we trust.